Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you. If you aren't using Microsoft Cloud Marketplaces, we believe you are missing a big opportunity. But I'm glad that you are here today at the end of this conference, one of the last sessions. And if you are here, that means you are curious. Maybe you have an application right in the marketplace. If you're not, we'll optimize the discussion for both sides. The goal of this session is to share with you what's our vision for cloud marketplaces, how both Azure Marketplace and AppSource play a role, how we can build a story together, and how that will optimize the experience both for our customers, for our partners, and for your end users. Welcome to BRK 2513, Building Applications and Services for Azure Marketplace. My name is Nuno, and I'm going to partner with Rajesh on this session throughout the next 60 to 75 minutes. This is going to be agenda for the next 60 minutes. I'm going to do a first part of introducing Azure Marketplace and AppSource, explaining why it's important, why there's a business opportunity, how our customers are connecting to it, and why is the role for partners building applications or services. As we go through that, then I'm going to pass over to Rajesh, where he's going to deep dive into some of the scenarios that we are explore, giving the opportunity for customers and partners to connect, but in particular 4 of those that we made announcements this week of new capabilities that are available. And then we go to next steps and time for Q&A. Quick show of hands. Who has an application in Azure Marketplace or AppSource? 1, 2, okay, half. Anyone that has an application or service in another marketplace that is not from Microsoft? Here, 2, 3, okay. Who considers yourself coming from an ISV or an application, building software for others to make commercial available? Okay, good. All of you using Azure? Yes, okay. So I think we have a good set of discussions to have. So let me start by giving a bit of context where we are in terms of market and growth of cloud marketplaces. One of the things that we've been finding out, and you guys, if you are following Azure and if you're following all the cloud platforms that we have, there's tremendous growth. Recently just announced quarterly results. We announced around $6 billion for the last quarter in commercial cloud, with a growth of 50% year over year. That is a tremendous growth, both from a financial side, but also on the user side. A lot of new users and a lot of new organizations adopting both Azure, Dynamics, Power BI, Office 365, all the kind of commercial cloud products that we have. That means that users and organizations are adopting the platform, but then on top of that, these same users are getting more empowerment to go search, find, try, deploy, and buy all those third-party applications or services available on those clouds. That means that those users are bypassing the traditional process of IT procurement, and they are going faster and having a higher empowerment to search, buy, and simplify all the procurement and billing experience. That means that there's a huge opportunity for customers to go faster, but also for partners who are building software to be in front of those customers and simplify all that procurement. That's where we believe there's a strong opportunity. In particular, given the room is primarily focused on ISVs, or you are building software to sell to other customers, there's a tremendous opportunity for you. And if you are not in one of the cloud marketplaces, we do believe that that's the right time, because we are seeing tremendous growth. We are seeing that growth in our marketplaces, both on users, both on organizations, both on the number of orders and purchases. And that means from a small company doing a web shop, doing kind of web workload, up to a high-end Fortune 500 company deploying and managing and buying high-intensive workloads like HPC or data analytics with thousands of cores or hundreds of data infrastructures. That means the opportunity is big, and it's growing every single month. So before I go to exactly what we are doing, let me go to some of the grounding principles as we think about partner. Microsoft is a partner-led company. And as we think of marketplaces playing a role, we think about these 2 ground principles, that we are putting our engineering teams working against those. Number 1, we want to achieve parity between first-party services, which is the ones that Microsoft builds, and third-party. In the same way, we have in the same universal catalog the products that Microsoft builds with the products that the third-party companies like yourselves are building. That will provide an opportunity for us to showcase all products together and even create the bundles between a first-party product like Office and an application that you build, or even an Azure component and another one. The second one is Marketplace is a behavioral pattern. The way you can easily search, find, try, get that relevance and confidence on how you're finding that application, it's super, super critical. Be it on the web, be it on the portal, be it in an internal tool that our Microsoft seller is going to use and searching for those third-party solutions that we recommend to their customers. Being for Microsoft partner ecosystem as they are searching solutions to go build their own catalog and redeploy on their local markets. That is critical for us to do. Having said that, if we are able to combine these two, we'll be able to create a great opportunity for you as a partner, satisfying our customers. And that's how we are pivoting our development with our engineering teams. We have a couple of our members from our developer team in the room, so at the end of the day, at the end of the session, we can also take additional feedback or questions that you have. So if having a universal catalog is important, the second is having search experience and marketplace behavior as the second one. How do I get there? So the first step for us is to get into the cloud marketplace. That will get you closer to being the universal catalog and provide the business opportunity. What we see marketplace is a first step for your GTM relationship with Microsoft, and the ability for us to go help you launch your application in the marketplace, drive joint demand generation, and then help you grow with joint sales. Let me give a little bit more context on some of the things that we are doing to amplify the exact message I just give. Number one, we have momentum. We have around 8,000 applications as we think about AppSource and Azure Marketplace, and we are growing over 150 apps every single month across the different workloads. Number of users, it's growing every single month. As I just mentioned, Azure, Office 365, Power BI, Dynamics, and all those products are growing, and we are capturing more users, more organizations. And every single month, we have over 2 million users, active users, coming to marketplaces, trying software, exploring, navigating, and deploying and buying. And that's an important measurement because that represents business opportunity for all of you. Every single month, our engineering team is also releasing new features. Some of them are more visible. Some of them are more scheduled to be coming in a specific cadence, specific moment, like this week, where we made a couple of announcements, and we'll go in detail a little bit later. But that means that we are investing to satisfy our customers on the needs that they have, both from procurement of software, the purchase experience, the ability to manage their software, to manage it at any point in time, giving them that flexibility, but as well for our publishers to make it easier for them to make more business. That also gives you access to Microsoft's ecosystem, both from a customer point of view, on how our field sales teams are engaging in recruiting new customers every single day, bringing value from third-party solutions, but as well to our partner ecosystem across the world. That can be the opportunity to create partner-to-partner connections, where we have a SI or reseller or a managed service provider in a specific country reselling your solution. And then there's opportunities for us to do joint marketing and joint sales with our teams. In particular, there's a couple of initiatives like co-sell program, where our sellers are incentivized to sell third-party software, and they get incentives for that. And that's a unique opportunity that no one else in the industry is doing like we are doing. So I talked about Azure Marketplace and AppSource. How we see this is we see it as a one core engine, one cloud marketplace with two unique storefronts optimized for the user that we are serving. So that's where they're primarily tuned. Let me go in a little bit more in detail on what does this mean. Number one, we have Azure Marketplace. AzureMarketplace.com, it's kind of the front-end open website where we showcase all the applications available for Azure. This marketplace or this storefront is tuned for cloud developers and IT professionals. Very specific for Azure applications built on Azure, built for Azure as building blocks for those users to go continue to build their own solutions or manage their Azure infrastructure. It's available as well as you go in product experience when you go to portal.azure.com. When you're managing your Azure infrastructure, you have the tile on the dashboard with Marketplace, or whenever you are creating new resources, you are starting to see our third-party solution. That's where we start showcasing the first-party products combined with the third-party. If you go to look for databases, you'll see our SQL server and all those other first-party services, but then you see also other solutions from other partners. You also can access it through the command line. I just took a screenshot of the command line on the integrated into the portal, but you can at any point in time set up your bash shell and just go explore. Azure Marketplace, like I said, is very focused on cloud developers and IT pros. You can do end-to-end deployment, meaning from search, find, try, and buy, and deploy all these solutions. Here I'm just highlighting a couple of the top partners that we have on the marketplace. Some of those have been featured over the last couple of weeks across the different categories. So the categories here are very workload-oriented. All these opportunities to have big partners, smaller partners, startups. We are engaging new partners, bringing new innovative solutions for the different workloads. And then we are always looking for one more company every single day to put the logo there. Then on the other side, we have AppSource. Very, very focused on business users. Users that are looking for vertical solutions, thinking about financial services, thinking about retail or other types of verticals, but as well productivity and business apps. And that's where AppSource has AppSource.com has its own website as well, and its own catalog, kind of bifurcation of the universal catalog that we have. But then, as when you are inside the product, like Dynamics, and you click more apps, you only get the specific apps for Dynamics users. Or when you are in one of the Office applications, being the either Word, Excel, or up to Teams, or when you are on Office Online, you get specific applications just for your application that you are using. The same applies when you are in Power BI. You open the button on more apps, more visuals, you get your own specific use. All of this is being served from the same catalog, from the same backend. Rajesh is going to go a bit more detail later, but he's going to give us more of that flavor. The same way, we have top providers on AppSource, and then a vast ecosystem of applications across the different product types. On the SaaS primarily, and across the others, you'll see very specific also of categorization by industries, and that's where you'll see your scenario being applied. So to summarize, we have one marketplace with two unique storefronts. Different audience, one very technical audience, the other very focused on the business side. Different in-product experience, one very focused on Azure, and now it showcases on the Azure portal, and the others on the different client applications. A little different on the publishing options. One allows you to list, trial, and fully transact. That means I am able to deploy into Azure subscription, and I can even sell the software. Either we bring your own license, or we can even paid applications. AppSource is only list and trial. The other important point to point here is it's one common publishing platform. So the Cloud Publisher portal, which is the backend where a publisher goes to submit and provide all the information and manage their offers, it's common to both. If you have an application or multiple applications, you can use the same portal to manage the solutions across the two storefronts. And in some cases, some solutions can even be posted on, can be listed on the two storefronts. Let me give you a simplified view of the mechanics of the marketplace. We still get some questions about exactly what happens and who gets the lead, who gets the flow. So we have a very simplified view. So we have a customer on the left side, you have an ISV on the right side, and in between there's the marketplaces. Typically where it starts, again, if you are interested in publishing in marketplace, you will come and you'll get onboarded. You publish your app. First you create your profile, you create your offer, you submit your technical details, your marketing details, your storefront, everything that's going to show up, and the pricing, all those things, and even some of the technical details like your metadata, your application that needs to be certified, or your trial experiment. Having that step done, then we'll publish your application in the marketplace. It's going to get visible. First option, we said list, trial, and transact. So if I just do a pure listing, there's an ability to have a button on your application which has a contact me. Then the user comes and he clicks contact me. What we do, we capture that signal, we give you a lead. One important point I forgot to mention, when you publish your app, you also configure your CRM system. We are able to provide you a connection directly from our marketplace to your CRM of choice. Think about the Marketo, Dynamics CRM, Salesforce, and a couple more, and we'll connect you directly to that flow. Almost in real time, we'll give you that lead, and from that lead, you are in control. You are supposed to follow up with that user and nurture that opportunity. we are not there in the engagement anymore. The second option is you provide a free trial. So the user says, I want to try this application. I'm going to highlight here primarily the scenario for a SaaS application. In that case, we receive that signal. What we do is we capture that signal, give it to you as one step as a lead. The second thing we do is we transfer the user from Azure Marketplace to your site with single sign-on. And on that case, what you need to do is provision the user directly to a trial experience. And then you kind of nurture the opportunity to that flow, and you convert the user ideally at the end with a purchase on your end site. Then the third option is, however, I want to sell my solution completely, and then the user gets, I get it now. He gets the app provisioned, deployed, and if it's a paid app, later on we'll send you an invoicing and billing and all this billing relationships. And then what happens on the back end with you is we send you the lead real time, a couple days later, or depending on the cycle, there's the order, the payouts, and then you can also access all the reporting available in the portal at any point in time. But that information will flow. So this is a very simplified view of what happens in the marketplace. So let me summarize a little bit the list, trial, and transact a little bit in terms of what options do I have to publish my app. Option number one, I would just want to list my application, and I have just end users to connect with me through a contact me. That is available today for a general listing, so that's what we call SaaS applications, or available for consulting services, which is a listing type for SIs that want to provide and sell their own practices in terms of consulting experiences. Technical requirements. The core technical requirement is having an application or service ready and available, and that makes sense and brings value to our users in the marketplace. No specific technical requirement needed for this one. As you think about enabling a trial experiment, there's two scenarios. One is the SaaS type of application, where definitely we don't want to create a trial experience. Typically, we see three types of trials. Number one is kind of the freemium model, where we convert you to a real end user kind of experience. With limited use in time or limited set of functionalities. You'll then nurture the user to upgrade for a paid one. The second one is guided trial experience. Think about that as an interactive demo, where your solution is super complex, very verticalized, big, requires a lot of infrastructure in the back end. Think about a manufacturing solution. You kind of navigate the user to what it means to have that application and how it will be used. The third one is you provide a test drive, sandbox kind of environment with sample data, sample scenarios, scripted demos, and then the user can test it and have a complete understanding of the solution. The better the demo, the higher we are seeing the conversion rates from a lead to an opportunity to sales. The other option is if you are a kind of more client application on Office or Microsoft Teams, you you have an add-in experience, and then you get that deployment. Core requirements in terms of technical, it's primarily as Azure Active Directory for to have the single sign-on integration, and on the add-in, you need to go through this add-in certification process. The third area where we see a lot of interest is on the transactional capabilities, where you can really sell your solution. That is only available for Azure Marketplace today, and the key reason is because we have then the context to all the billing relationships that we already have with those users inside Azure. We have a couple options. You package your solution into a single VM. That's where we have a virtual machine type of publishing. You package everything gets built into one VM and ready to sell. The second one is your solution requires more than one VM and more resources. So what you do is you create what we call use an ARM template, and that's where we call it solution template, where you kind of create a reference template where you say the user defines how many VMs he wants for that solution, how he wants to distribute, what other resources, network, storage, or other of the Azure 200 Azure services needs to be packaged, and you create a reference template, and then the user goes and deploys and configures in real time. There's another variation of that, which is super interesting, which is the Azure Managed Apps. The difference between Azure Managed Apps and solution templates is that Azure solution templates, you package, you put it on Marketplace, the customer deploys it on its own environment, and he is in full control. The Azure Managed Apps it's kind of the same concept, but the solution is deployed by the ISV or the SI. It gets deployed on the customer Azure environment, but it's fully controlled by the ISV and SI. The customer only sees that there's a set of resources there that he can see, but he doesn't have control. So it's kind of a sandbox environment that he sees, but it's fully remote. This enables really good scenarios for managed service providers that are managing on behalf of the customer. The other two new offer types that we have inside Transact, it's ability to have applications inside containers, and we're going to talk a little bit more today because it became available this week. And the other one is for customers to procure and buy SaaS subscriptions, applications that you're going to build through Azure to get access to those SaaS applications. Core requirements for those ones is on IaaS is go through Azure certification. On the SaaS side is implementing a subscription API. Rajesh is going to cover a little bit more about that. So now that you see the options, we want to help you. And we can help you in 3 ways. First one is on the technical side. The second one is on the marketing or doing co-marketing with you. And the third one is co-selling. On the technical side, we have an onboarding team that helps you go through the process of registering as a publisher, getting your app created, and all those things on the portal. We also have technical support, but also for most of these complex cases like solution templates and managed applications, we have a technical onboarding team that helps you design and architect that solution with the best practices. On the co-marketing side, the day of your launch, we are ready to amplify your activities with some social promotions, some other marketing activities. But in some cases, as we go more high-hand, we also have opportunity to do joint campaigns or market inclusion or promote your apps across Microsoft properties and things like that. On the co-sell side, which is super, super interesting in many of these scenarios, if you are in the co-sell program, you will help you accelerate some of those engagements with our sellers, but as well, we can give you additional resources like, hey, you need Azure credits to go recruit new Azure customers. We can give you that. We are qualifying some of these leads internally with our sales teams so that they can follow up with the partners and accelerate some of those opportunities, and a couple other scenarios. Combining both the marketplace and co-sell program where our sales teams are working side by side with key partners, it's proven super, super successful. I won't cover too much about marketplace and co-sell, but this is one of the examples of many of the case studies that we have internally, partners that are doing co-sell with us. Definitely they see on the case of marketplace and combining the leads that they receive with the signals and our qualification and engagement with our sellers that helps them accelerate their business. He says, Vikram Ghosh, Vice President of Chef, says it's 25% faster. That means that they can save time on closing more deals or can go spend more time in quality and higher engagements. That's a unique opportunity. And wherever we spend time with partners that are on Marketplace, if they invest on Marketplace as a channel, they can get the return. And we have plenty of good feedback. We had meetings this week with several of these partners that I had in the previous slides, and all of them want to do more. And we are collecting all the feedback. And that feedback is super, super important because we are making key investments, both to please our customers and also to please our partners on building this joint business. Again, thinking about the universal catalog and the marketplace as an experience, we are expanding marketplace with additional offer types and addressing new audiences, but as well optimizing the publisher experience and our customer experience. Here are some of the key features or key capabilities that we've launched recently, the last couple of months. Office applications, it's now fully in AppSource. 2 weeks ago, we brought in the Microsoft Teams as well, so Microsoft Teams is also now exposed through AppSource, besides all the other Office applications. September, October last year, we launched consulting services for Power BI and Dynamics. This week, we made it available for Azure partners. Azure Managed Apps, as I explained, was launched a couple months ago, and it's one of the core new functionalities. SaaS application, the Listen trial is now available on Azure Marketplace as well. And in the next 30, 40 minutes, we're going to spend more time on the 4 new capabilities that we launched this week. Number 1, consulting services on Azure Marketplace, a small tour into that. Private offers, ability for customers and partners to negotiate privately terms, conditions, and pricing, and do it through that to the marketplace without telling every other customer what they're doing. SaaS subscriptions, and then the other one very, very interesting, which is third-party applications inside containers. And with that, I pass to Rajesh to give us a little bit more details on what does it mean and how does these things work.
All right. Thank you, Nuno. So what I will do is Nuno talked about the different marketplaces and what are the capabilities we have in them. I'm going to quickly do a walkthrough of the different portals and the experiences we have, and then dive into some of the new capabilities which we launched at Build. So to begin with, we have AzureMarketplace.com. This is the storefront where you can come and publish applications that is targeted for developers and IT pros as ISVs. And we also have AppSource, where you can come and publish business applications that could cater from Office 365, Dynamics, or Power BI. And these are experiences where you can come and list your offers, and users can come and discover them directly without having any prior sign-in or prior requirements in place, like an Azure account, etc. What we also have is, if you are an Azure user and you are inside the Azure portal, we have a marketplace experience inside of the Azure portal itself, where you can come and discover all the apps published by both Microsoft as well as partners. Now, one of the new capabilities which Nuno talked about was SaaS. Now, how many of you here have SaaS applications in place today? All right, so you have the right audience. So there are a few things which you can do from a marketplace point of view. The first option is where you can come and list your offer, which means that the marketplace becomes a venue or a channel through which users can come and discover your SaaS applications. Now, in this case, what I have is one of the listed SaaS applications. It's called Big ID. And if you see here, for these, you can come and make sure that users are able to come and know more about your SaaS offer, get a description, figure out which categories they are in, etc. And then the call to action in that case is a contact me, wherein if I as a user click on contact me, we will generate a lead and send to you so that you can follow up with the user and try to close on that opportunity. And as Nuno said, we can connect to the CRM tool of your choice, be it Salesforce, be it Dynamics 365, Marketo, or you can even get it in a Azure Table or Azure Blob Storage. So it's really flexible, and this is an important way in which you can connect all the leads coming in and use it as a funnel to grow your business. And that's something which is a unique value prop to the Azure Marketplace. And the other option is where you can publish a SaaS app and give a trial experience. In a lot of cases, like the amount of SaaS services which is being consumed by users, both enterprise and small business and across the spectrum, is growing at a very rapid pace, which means that for different sort of requirements, they are trying to go out and say, hey, should I build it in a house, or is there a service out there which I can make use of? When they make those decisions, they want to make sure that it fits their needs and they're able to benefit out of it before they actually go out and purchase it. So these are scenarios where you can provide a trial experience, wherein you can give a sandbox environment to the users so that they can come try out your software without having any prior requirements. They don't need to set up something in Azure, etc. All they need is an AD account in which it's integrated. So they natively integrated and they get access to your sandbox environment. Now, for example, I'll just switch over to one of these things. There's a doc generator trial app, SaaS app in Azure, which I set it up, and I was able to log in with my AD application. I didn't have to set up anything in Azure. So this is a very, very powerful means by which you as an ISV can tap into, so that you can not only list your offer, but you can give a trial experience for them. And the prerequisite for this is, the only thing we say is when the user clicks trial, everything else is set up for them automatically. So we require that it's an AD integration in place so that the users log in with, for example, I log in with Rajram at Microsoft.com and I get your full experience. And this could be sandbox so that you can go back and say it's available for a specific amount of time, it does certain capabilities, etc. But it is a very useful mechanism through which users can get a glimpse of what you provide before they sign up with the product. And the final aspect which we introduced here at Build this week is the notion of a transactable SaaS subscription or a paid SaaS offer. What this means is that users who want to not only discover your SaaS apps, but they also want to purchase their SaaS apps through the Azure Marketplace. there are a few key benefits both from an Azure customer point of view and also from an Azure partner point of view. From a customer point of view, as the number of SaaS services they consume increase, they don't have to discover them in many different places. They have one place for them to go discover it, and they also have a single mechanism through which they will end up paying, because they set up their payment instrument through their existing Azure payment instruments. So if I already have set up my credit card for my Azure subscription, I can use the same mechanism to pay to your service. And this is something which we announced here at Build this week, and I'm just going to quickly go over that experience right now. So this is Azure Portal. So what I'm going to do is go to the marketplace, and you'll notice right away that among the list of categories which is out there, you see a experience for software as a service. And in here, you can discover all the new SaaS apps which you can purchase or subscribe through Azure Marketplace. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of them, and you can see, like just like any other application in Azure, you can see the details, and you can go through the feature list, and you can say, I want to go ahead and subscribe to it. In this case, what I'm going to do is give it a name, and then pick a resource group in which I'm going to manage it, and then I can pick a plan associated with it. What this means is that if you're a SaaS provider, you can publish one or more plans. An example would be like, let's say you have a basic plan and a premium plan, wherein you are giving certain set of capabilities in the basic plan, and you're providing some additional capabilities in the premium plan. Now, you can have as many plans as you want. In this case, the publisher has only one plan, but you can imagine them having a multitude of them. And the reason it's interesting is you provide all these capabilities, and the users can switch between one plan to the other depending on their needs, and you control that experience completely from your side. And at the time of launch for Build, we are supporting a billing model of a flat monthly fee. What it means is that for every plan which you have, you can associate a flat fee. Let's say in this case it's $190 per month. Now you could have a premium plan, for example, just like $500 per month, etc. You can associate a fee for each and every plan, and then the users can pick and choose which plans they want to subscribe to. So in this case, I'll go ahead and subscribe to this basic plan, and then I'll click on subscribe. Notice that as part of this process, there are a few things which is interesting. The user is subscribing to your SaaS service in the context of the Azure subscription. And the payment instrument associated with the Azure subscription is the means by which they will end up paying to Azure. And then as part of the subscription, they pick the plan which they want to subscribe to. That's their intent. And then they find your terms of use and the privacy policy which they adhere to. They consent to it. And then finally, they provide the contact information so that, like when the user clicks on it, we generate and send the leads for you. Now let me click on subscribe. So in this case, a few things which is happening. We are setting up the required things so that from an Azure point of view, the user is subscribed to the SaaS service, and it's all set up so that they can come and start configuring start making use of your SaaS application. Now, once it's done, what it allows is they have set up the mechanics, but they still haven't done anything to your website, as in they still don't know what your application is. So if you go to the resource post subscription, it gives a clear call to action, which means that you're subscribed to the SaaS app from Azure. However, please complete your subscription by configuring the account. And when we do that, we take you to your website, which is you as a SaaS ISV. So in this case, we give a clear call to action saying that, hey, you came from Azure, and by completing and subscribing to the service, you're going to start payment. Now, until this point, until I go ahead and sign up for your service, we do not bill you yet. At this point, if you notice here, billing will start after sign up. And the reason for it is there are certain SaaS apps where it could be as simple as I create a username and password, I'm good. I can start consuming your service right away. There are certain other cases where you might need some setup time. It takes like 24 hours or 48 hours before you can do all the setup on your side before the users can start consuming your service. Now, that is the reason why we say, hey, we don't charge it, and the moment they sign up and they can access your service, that is when we'll start billing. So now if I go back and just complete this part where I'll just say build 2018 demo, then give a phone number. Now in this case, what happens, gone ahead and signed up for the SaaS service. Now in this case, this is going to go ahead and set up my account and make sure that I have access to the service. Meanwhile, let's go back to this. Now we have, at this point, there are a few things which we need to take care of. How do you as ISV know how to communicate to Azure? How do you know that the user is coming from Azure, and like how do you let us know that start the billing or stop the billing? There are a few key things which we need to keep in mind. There are 3 events which we care from a SaaS provider point of view. One is, when should we start the billing? When should we stop the billing? And if the user for some reason changes plans, let's say they move from basic plan to a premium plan, let us know so that we can prorate it. Let's say the basic plan is $100 per month and the premium plan is $200 per month. You should be able to go back and if the user changes in between, in the middle of the month, we should be able to charge the user for the basic plan for the first 15 days and the premium plan for the next 15 days. So we handle the proration. So those are the 3 events from a life cycle that we care about. Now, in terms of managing it, like in terms of highlighting those life cycles and figuring out where it is, if you go to Azure portal, and as a user, if you search for software as a service, we have enabled a brand new experience where you can go ahead and list and manage all these SaaS services. Because as a user, you can go ahead and consume multiple SaaS services and you want to manage them in one place. So we go ahead and go here, and then I can go ahead and select my build demo. So if you see here, like the name which I gave, like build demo, the status is now subscribed. There are different states as we go through it. For example, there could be a pending state wherein I just came to Azure and subscribed to the SaaS app, but I haven't configured the service. I haven't started consuming it. So we haven't charged the user it, and its status is marked as pending. There are cases where, similar to what I showed right now, I went and created the subscription, and I went to the SaaS site and signed up for an account. Now the SaaS has notified Azure saying that the user has signed up, and so we show the status as subscribed. Now the user can also go to the SaaS site and delete the account, saying that, like, I no longer want to make use of this, let me stop using it. At that time, the status will show as unsubscribed. So the different states which we support are pending, subscribe, and unsubscribe. Now the question comes down to, now that you have these 3 states, what is the mechanism through which you as a SaaS ISV can integrate with Marketplace? So to do that, I'm going to show it in the context of an example and then walk through the experience. So what I'm going to do is, whatever I showed to you via the portal in terms of go sign up and do certain things, we have set up a simulation so that we can talk about the partner integration from your point of view. The first one is, let me go ahead and rerun it. All right, so we have an Azure account. I go ahead and sign up for a SaaS resource. I go sign up, and then I say I'm getting the Marketplace token, and then I want to go ahead and create an account in the SaaS site. We have covered this so far. The part which is interesting from a SaaS partner point of view is to go back and say, how do you communicate with Azure so that you can say, subscribe, start the subscription? How can you tell Azure that the user has changed the, how do you tell Azure that the user has deleted the account in the SaaS site? Those are the mechanisms by which we have exposed APIs in Marketplace. For example, it's marketplace api.microsoft.com. We have APIs to resolve the token. The first important thing is, you need to know that the user is coming from Azure to your SaaS site. So we have an API to resolve the token so that you know who is coming from Azure. And then we have an API to subscribe to the SaaS service. And then we have an API to convert, and we have an API to delete. And all these are public APIs and documented. So, and we'll give you guidance as you publish the app with us. But essentially, from a partner point of view, these are the 3 things which you should care about. Like, how do I subscribe? How do I unsubscribe? How do I notify Azure that the user has changed? So with that, what I will do is go back to the presentation and recap what we saw in SaaS. From a customer point of view, they can think about Azure Marketplace and Azure Portal as the one place where they can discover all SaaS applications which fits their needs. From an ISV point of view, we provide you the complete choice in terms of whether you want to list your offer, or you want to enable a trial for your offer, or you want to transact your offer in Azure Marketplace. And at Build, we are happy to work and launch with these three partners, Covenant, Cloud Endure, and Optimize. And we want to say a huge thanks to them as they worked with us to make this launch possible. With SaaS covered, I'm going to switch over to containers. So similar to SaaS, we are also announcing a new type of offer which we support in the marketplace, and that is containers. Here, what you can do is, if you go back to the Azure portal, similar to how you discovered SaaS apps, if you go to container category, you will see a whole bunch of container images. How many of you make use of or publish containers today? A few of you. So essentially, if similar to a virtual machine image or similar to a SaaS application, if you make use of, if you publish container images, or if you have container applications, we are investing heavily to make sure that we can give a first-class experience in the Azure Marketplace. So at launch, we have made available a lot of container images that you can consume and start making use of. And there are a few key value props with respect to the images in the Azure Marketplace. For example, every image which is there in the Azure Marketplace is secure, it's in a trusted store, and it has been verified and certified that it runs against an Azure container runtime, like Managed Kubernetes Service or ACI. So this gives you, as a customer, when they discover the container images in the Azure, they get the same trusted software as they get from any other app which they consume from the marketplace. Now with this, like similar to how you see in Azure marketplace.com in the public portal, if we switch over to the Azure portal itself, you can go back and see that there is a whole bunch of container images. If I switch over to marketplace, if I go to containers, you will see the exact same list of images over here. Now I've already so in this case, what I want to do is I want to just take a node image so that I can build on top of it. I can see the entire list of images, and then I can go to see the details of a specific container image, and then I can acquire the image. There are two things you can do with the user. When you publish a container image, the users can start consuming them from Azure. And the way they do that is they first consent to your terms of use because you have published your container image in Azure, and two, they start making use of it. And the way they do that is through subscribing to the container image by copying the image to their own Azure container registry. Azure has a private secure container registry in which you can host your images. And in this process, what we say is whatever image you publish, we can take them and let the users copy it to their own container registry so that they have the full flexibility in terms of how they can choose to make use of them. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I think I have an existing container registry, so I'm just going to quickly open it up. And if you see here, it currently has no container image in place. Now, if I go back to the Azure portal and I select my container image, I can now subscribe to it. What it does, it will copy the container image to my target ACI, and as part of it, we also allow you to give an option called auto update. This allows you as a publisher to keep innovating at your own pace, so that as and when you publish new versions of the images, any user who is subscribed to it will automatically get it in their container registry. So that way, you can be sure that as you innovate your software and you keep revving up your version, the users will also automatically get it, like for those who have opted into it. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it as is and then say subscribe. Now, with this going on, like before I go back to the ACR instance, there's another new feature which we have enabled right now. As users make use of multiple apps in the marketplace and they start making use of them, there are a few apps they go to repeatedly. In this case, you can save for later so that you don't have to go through the same experience every single time. Instead, you can come to your saved list and then have a quick access of all your favorite applications in the marketplace. Now, if I go back to the Azure Container Registry, the container image which I subscribed from the marketplace is now available over here. As a next step, what we want is if you are a SaaS, if you are an ISV who is interested in publishing container images or container applications, we would love to talk to you so that we can onboard them into the marketplace. Now, at the time of launch at build, we are only exposing single container images, and all of them are free or bring your own license, and there's no monetization involved. As we make more investments here and grow this space, we would love to work with you and get your feedback and help you shape us as we move forward in this container ecosystem. So with that, let me switch over and then recap from custom like container image perspective. To reiterate, like the main thing is similar to anything else in the marketplace, it is a trusted store in which you can come and discover container images. So customers have the reliability and assurance that it's secure, certified for any image they find in the marketplace. From an ISV point of view, you have a new channel and a new mechanism through which you can go target Azure customers. And at the time of launch, like we have close to 35 images in the marketplace today across a various set of categories. And we are partnered primarily with Bitnami and Couchbase for build. But if you are a container ISV and you're publishing container images, we'd love for you to reach out to us as we build the space. The final aspect which I want to talk about is private offers. Here, let me switch back to the Azure portal experience and talk about it. How many of you today make negotiated deals with your customers? A bunch of you. And like those negotiations could be based on custom price, it could be based on custom terms, or you're building something specific to your customer. So in terms of like those are different variances in which you customize the offer for a customer. Now, what we previously until now, what you have to do is you have to list your offer as a bring your own license, and then make sure that whatever changes you do, you go out and have like behind the scenes discussions with the customer to make it possible. What we are enabling at build this year is the notion of a private offers for virtual machines. This means you as a ISV can come to Cloud Partner Portal, our publishing portal, and publish private deals that can target specific customers. And then as part of that, you can set custom pricing, you can have custom bids, custom images which you target, or it could be custom terms. And from a customer perspective, the way it shows up is if you go to Marketplace, notice the banner at the top. If you published an offer that is specific to a customer, when that customer logs in, they'll get a notification or they'll get the UX cues to say that they have private offers which are specific to them. And apart from the fact that these are marked private, the experience in the Azure portal is the same, just as be for any other application. So this way, what you can do is you can reliably go target custom solutions for your customers and like deal with them, while at the same time from an end user perspective, they get the same experience which they have grown to use day in and day out. And this is something which we think is really powerful, and we have opened it up for virtual machine images at build, and we are going to expand it to other offer types which you have in the cloud marketplace going forward. Again, just to recap, I think this is a really powerful experience where instead of you going and creating like behind the scenes deals and having bring your own license, you can reliably do them right in the cloud partner portal or publishing portal and target Azure customers. And the three main use cases of these are either negotiated pricing, custom terms, or you can build your own custom images. And with this, let me switch it back to Nuno, who will talk about consulting services. So.
Thank you, Rajesh. Mic number one. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, great. So on consulting services, it's besides our users and organizations looking for applications, sometimes they also need, hey, I need help from partners on managing my Azure infrastructure. So as we talked in the beginning, Microsoft has a broad partner ecosystem with a Microsoft Partner Network. So we have partners with a different set of competencies across the cloud, cloud technologies, and so on. So in September last year, we launched what we consulting services offers for Power BI and Dynamics, and now based on that success, we had customers requesting more of that for Azure, a place where I can go and connect with validated partners with credible experiences. And we also had our partner ecosystem requesting, when are you doing it for Azure practices? So what we are doing right now, as well as of this week, we are launching consulting services. You want to switch to 6. So what we made available is as well, the same way you list solutions and applications, we are also listing consulting practices, or what we call consulting services offers in the marketplace. And those are aligned to the competencies that we have in the Azure, in this case for Azure solution areas, meaning data migration, data analytics, data center management. If you want to offer different types of solution offers like readiness briefings, training, workshops, implementation, and pilots, we have different offer types. And then you can definitely navigate. Today, this is only available in US. We launched it this week, and we are actively working with additional partners from Canada, UK, and Australia to launch it over the next couple of weeks. And then we're going to start rolling out across more countries as we engage with the local subsidiaries to get the local partners onboarded. We are already collecting partner nominations from all over the world, so we are onboarding a few and just telling them stay put for a couple more weeks as we bring the new catalogs. Then what will happen is, today there's a small underline here saying this is only US. What will happen then, if your user comes from a specific country, will default to the local catalog of solutions. But this brings the ability to connect customers with local SIs, and what we aim to do as well is start to do the full connection. Customers, SIs, and application doing kind of these even bundled solutions that will be available. Then it kind of follows the same. So if I pick one of those, let me pick Unity Cloud, I'll have a contact me. It will redirect, it will get the lead with the phone number, the partner receives the lead, and ideally I'll get a phone call immediately. Then of course there's a fixed fixed scope on the offer here, but again it's always a matter of pure negotiation. But at least with a fixed kind of offer, we set the right expectations for the customers. What is he looking for? So this is a new one as part of our expansion of the catalog and addressing new audiences, but as well bringing benefits to all the partners. Customers are looking for these partners with these validated experiences, and as we work with these partners, we are picking the ones that are our cloud competencies with silver or gold level. That's a new opportunity. If you have an application, or you also have a preferred set of channel partners that are deploying your solution, there's also opportunity to make that connection and having them like deploying and security with my solution. So that's one of the things that we are doing, and we're going to do a couple additional investments on that. Quick round on what it's needed. So typically we require partners on the Microsoft Partner Network with cloud competencies around the application development ISV, cloud infrastructure and management, or data management analytics. Then we have 5 offer types. From the easiest one, assessment, then it's a briefing, then it's implementation, proof of concept, and workshop. This varies differently across the different partner types and the type of offerings that you can do. Typically, an offer is as fixed price, or it's free. Typically, assessment is considered, most of them are free. Fixed duration, 1 day, 2 days, couple of weeks. Predefined scope so that the customer has clear expectations of what are you going to deliver, and then of course the final outcome that is agreed between you and the partner. Again, we pass the lead, you take opportunity, and you drive the business. And then wrapping up, we covered a little bit. One, we know that market is growing, the cloud business is growing across the world. We are seeing that growth, we want even more, and we want to provide that growth through partners. So our organizations are growing, the cloud adoption are growing, adoption of marketplaces, and we see marketplaces as a key engine to provide that business to both you and us. It presents that unique opportunity. If you are not leveraging, we want to partner with you. We showcase here the different option types that we have to publish applications, so we have plenty of flexibility depending on your app. There's a model that fits your application. We want to leverage it, and of course, marketplace is evolving. We are continuously investing on marketing demand. We are investing on our co-sell capability with you, but also new capabilities that will please our customers, our partners, and making sure that we accelerate the business. Rajesh covered here some of the new capabilities. We have more and more to come in the next couple of months, so stay tuned. And if you're really interested, the next steps are, let's go get started. Typically, if you want to know a little bit more about marketplace and the details and requirements, one, there's a marketplace publisher guide. We are continuously updating with all the requirements, all the things that you need to go do to get into marketplace. We are adding actively today most of the documentation for these new workloads. Start there. Then we have an onboarding team that will help you get access to our cloud partner portal. They will help you onboard what's required, go to the different steps. Just go to the nomination phase, which is the last link, ak.ms/list on Azure Marketplace or ak.ms list on AppSource. Basically, it goes to the same team. It's just depending if you are in one of the front ends, it will go to the same queue. After that, you get access to Cloud Partner Portal. You validate your profile as a partner. You configure your settings. You start creating offers depending on the workload. We go through a publishing process, which includes, in some cases, the review and certification. You test, validate, you click the go live whenever you want. At that time, our go-to-market team is already working with you to make sure that on the day that you plan for the launch, we can also support you with some go-to-market activities. After that, it's kind of an ongoing relationship. The more you invest, the more we invest with you, the more we see results across the different factors that we see across marketplace, outside marketplace, and co-selling. We can amplify the activities that we're going to do with you. To know more, there were a couple of sessions that will be, again, some of them are recorded, so you'll be able to, you have the opportunity to follow up more. In particular, if you are on a more complex scenarios, which include solution templates and managed apps, building that solution template is a bit more complex because it involves the combination of multiple resources. Go watch those sessions. And then, of course, there's another opportunity that we did not discover here, but it's about the hybrid cloud, in particular with Azure Stack. So the marketplace is also available for Azure Stack. So that means if you build an application for Azure Marketplace, there is an opportunity to also provide that type of capability for the specific hardware that's built and runs Azure Stack in a hybrid mode. Rajesh also had a more complete demo this morning with the containers. I'm not sure if that session is recorded. It is as well. So perfect. You can see more. And then over the next couple of weeks, we're going to start sharing more documentation, do some webcasts where we can go deep dive more on this. With that, I hope if you are not in marketplaces, you want to be. If you are, you want to do more. And we are here to help you, and we can address questions at this time. And with that, I want to thank you, especially it's the last day of the conference. It's almost the last session. One more to go. So thank you for your time, and we have time now for questions. And we still have 15 minutes, which is good. Thank you. Any questions? We have a small room. We have a couple of people for engineering, so we can tag team if needed. So
how would we start some co-marketing with Microsoft? How does that work?
So typically what it happens is primarily for new offers, as soon as you start getting a new offer, our GTM team will connect with you or someone from your team, whoever is registered on the portal, to start engaging on getting some social activities, co-marketing, PR, case studies, and at the same time, if you are not in the co-sell program, see if you can go to that program and assess all of those requirements, and with that, we'll help you. Again, typically what happens as well, we have kind of a model where the more we see opportunities to invest and see your business growing, the more opportunities we have to do. So, and it's also a win-win situation. So
the process for getting into the co-sell program?
So the same team, the GTM services team, will work with you to do that. And if you need help, you can connect with me. My email alias is NUNOC, and we can redirect to that and see. Again, there's a set of requirements to get into that program. Being in the marketplace is going to be a core requirement as we move forward. So that's another good incentive to be on the marketplace. Yes?
So the new private offers program is intriguing for, I think, a few of us in the room that raised their hands when you said you negotiate with your customers. So the design of that program, do you envision it to be mostly corner cases, or do you think there's a good population of the ISV community that actually will use this on a recurring or frequent basis?
We have a good set of roundtables on Monday with multiple ISVs that they were on those first slides, at the big ones. All of them were, we want to use this. So it's going to be broad. Definitely we want to learn more about. We want to even give you additional, we are looking to different business models as well as we see more capabilities for billing terms and things like that. But the private offers is something that we know it's open and partners want it. I also want to be very clear that if you have a solution that today typically is available as BYOL, so bring your own license, so we do not charge for your software. If you want to continue to use it, great. If you want to use our billing capabilities and simplify the customer software procurement, even better. Then if you want to offer these private negotiated terms and pricing, let's go use it. We want to give you that option. And it's open.
How does Digital Partner of Record work with Marketplace?
Good question. Digital Partner of Record, for those who don't know, it's kind of it's an association of NPN ID or a partner that gets associated to a specific subscription. It doesn't work with DPOR, Digital Partner of Record. It will even work a little bit better because the engineering team is even. So let's separate. For the marketplace deployments, typically Azure virtual machines and solution templates, we know the subscription where this is getting landed. As of today, we do not track the partner up to the MPN ID. Give us a couple more weeks, and that will be available. And we are exactly this week, we are talking with our partner teams, or one commercial partner, explaining exactly how it's going to work. On the other side, we're also going to launch what we call Partner Admin Link, which is similar to DPOR, which is very specific for system integrators. And in that scenario, a customer will give administrative rights for specific subscriptions or resource groups, and it can have even multiple, and that will also be connected to an MPI need. So you'll have the combination of both, and that's where, from a system integrator point of view, and we think about consulting offers, we will see possibility of a downstream of not only selling, but also measuring how much that partner is doing. And in the case of Marketplace, primarily on those solutions that are deployed via the Marketplace, we'll see exactly which resource, at which application, which partner is driving that consumption. So it's coming. Thank you. More questions? No questions? Yeah, come on. We still have time.
So when you're thinking about are there any plans in the future on being able to charge so we have a software product that is around accelerating custom application development and paths and serverless.
Yes.
And so as the more that a client builds on top of it and builds faster, the more consumption they have. One of the things we want to be able to do is, instead of charging them licenses like per user or any of that, is charge based on assets managed, like a percentage of it. Is there any plans to be able to expose that and integrate with that so that we could use the billing engine and do it where we can give the product free and then just charge based on how much they use it?
Yep. So that's a great question. So as I said, for launch, what we have is a flat fee monthly model. But we are exploring options like these where we have heard feedback similar to the one you said, where you want a custom usage-based model where you know what is the consumption of the SaaS service and you're defining the business model based on those set of units, and you want to charge based on it. So we are exploring options in terms of how you can enable those custom units and emit those meters to us, and we charge accordingly. That's something we are exploring right now, and as we go forward, we might have more updates on it.
Yes.
But it's great feedback. It'll be great for us to just catch up, like post this.
Yeah, it's in one area of investment we're exploring. There's a variety of scenarios. We want to make sure we prioritize the right ones.
So that makes me think of another question. It's not clear if the billing you're talking about for SaaS providers is for individual users in a tenant, or if it's for the entire tenant, or is it either?
So right now the way it happens is whenever the user signs up for your account, like whenever they subscribe, there's a new account in your service. That's when we charge. So it's based on per subscription to your SaaS service. Could be like, so that translates to as many accounts as there. A typical example is I might sign up twice or thrice for your same offer, one for my development, one for my test, one for my production needs, and have different scenarios. So that's what we are enabling right now. But if you have other needs, like at a user level or at a tenant level, we'd love to chat with you as we expand on it. Like in this kind.
Okay, what clarification there to your question? So the actual whether the subscription maps to a single user or it actually maps to a single tenant, the management of it is with you on the SaaS side.
Yep.
From billing point of view, it all gets built under the Azure subscription construct that the user is.
So we decide what the bill is, and it gets billed back through the API?
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, whether you want to expose that to a tenant level or management versus a single user management is left with you.
Yep.
Whether you want to expose it. Versus
We map the.
always charge it based on the number of times the user ended up clicking on the subscription button.
The number of times they ended up
Each
clicking.
subscription is managed independently on the Azure side.
So each user that clicks is a subscription. So if you're saying,
Yeah.
The user creates a subscription.
so when the second user from the same tenant joins, can we kind of ignore that? Because in our context, it doesn't make any sense.
Right, so when the second tenant comes in, since it's all happening in the context of Azure subscription, if they end up sharing the same Azure stuff, they get to see the same already subscribed subscription can use.
Okay. I think you have it covered then, for at least for us.
Yeah.
And on those private offers, does it include terms like payment for monthly, quarterly, or annually prepayment? Or is it just monthly?
Today it's hourly or monthly. We are actively working on other options in terms of time.
So in other words, like as far as a private offer is concerned,
Yeah.
it's a manifestation of what we already support, right? In the case of virtual machines, we support per hour billing. In the case of software as a
Yeah.
service, we support monthly billing. And private offers lets you extend those for your private deals. It goes back to your question saying that in general, there's a lot of good feedback around the business models in terms of saying that I need like an annual bill versus a customized billing model, etc. Those are the things which we are evaluating right now.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause for small startups, that prepaid angel is a big thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Even for the big ones, even not just startups. We had the roundtables again with many of the big ones and the small ones. They all want and different terms. The question is as well, we need to think about how do we standardize some of the terms so that the procurement gets generalized. So we had the meetings with some partners this week. 12 months, no cancellation, things like that. I want a yearly billing, but monthly, yearly terms, but monthly billing. Those type of things that we need to validate and see how we can prioritize for the next couple months. No more questions. We want to thank you again. We are going to stay around a couple more minutes. If you want to come and chat with us privately and talk about your solution, happy to spend some time with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon, and thank you for coming for Build.